G'day ladies and gents, welcome to War Thunder with Mags. Well, today I'm doing a bit of an update video on my G6. Now back when I first started posting up videos, I had a request from a user on the Reddit forums by the name of, and I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong, Jaskarus. Now he was, well, basically asked me to take a bit of a look at the G6 and see what it was capable of. Now, at the time, why I'd pretty much maxed out every 109 in the entire German line, and I loved all the aircraft, I skipped the G6 completely. I think I'd flown it once the day I bought it, and then it got put in the back of a hangar and never touched again. And the reason was, well, because of the excessive repair costs and the huge amount of experience to unlock it. It was just seemed more appropriate at the time. I had ground up enough XP to buy the G6 and buy all the way down to the G10. Just made more sense since I was going for the K4 anyway to put the G10 in and fly it instead. But I've dragged it back out and I've been working on it slowly. Now, at this stage, it's still not quite there. I've managed to get the wings and the wing repair unlocked. I still am stuck on the default belts of the 30mm. I have not unlocked any of the extra ammo there, nor the new 30mm cannons, nor the engine injection or the cover, or most importantly, the one major thing I haven't unlocked yet is the R5 suspension. And that's because getting to this point here, that's still over 250,000 XP left to go. That's 375,000 XP from this point still to unlock the R5s. So at the moment I've only got the R6 with the twin 20mm swung under the wings, and this is a fairly new unlock. Overall, I'm disappointed at myself for not flying this plane a little bit sooner, but I'm not going to review it now. I will not review an aircraft until it is fully unlocked. So let's take this thing out for a fly and see how it does in its current state. So me and Kay teamed up for this historical battle. We're both flying the G6s today, and we've just rolled out of the stadium on the Operation Berlin map. Now, apparently I haven't flown this map since they made the changes and put the twin runways down south for the Allied side, because I've never taken off from the stadium airfield before. It was rather cool and a nice surprise. So as I said, me and Kay are both bringing out our G6s. Mine is in the state that I showed you a few moments ago. His is fully upgraded, completely maxed out, and he is peeling away from me into the sky. We've had a bit of a tab around, and unfortunately we've realised we're actually in a tier 16 battle. We have a K4 on our team, and we don't know the exact numbers yet, but there is multiple F8F quad cannons on the opposing team, so we're pretty down the food chain for this battle. But that's not going to let us stop. This thing's still got twin 20s under the wings, it's still got 30, and in the case of K's, he's got 3 30mm, so we are going to go and do what we can to chew up the enemy before we likely get torn apart by some Bearcats. Now, you can see I'm swinging the plane back and forth. I'm not approaching the airfields directly. Never in more than 45-degree angles. Most of the time I'm pulling out less than that as I'm on approach. I don't want to be the first one in battle. I'm in one of the lowest tier aircraft in this battle. It is not fully upgraded, and it's going to be against aircraft that are far superior to me in maneuverability and overall performance. So I'm trying to find altitude, I'm trying to stay around the clouds, which I can use for cover, and, well, let somebody else spot the targets before I move in. I'm in no rush to go and get my ass shot off. Now, Kay's floating around a little bit in front of me here. He's being fully upgraded. He's a little bit more nimble, a little bit more powerful, and carries a hell of a lot more guns. So he's already up at altitude, and he's just, well, basically doing what I'm doing now. He's just cutting back and forth across the map, waiting for targets to light up so he can work out what he's going to engage first. Now, there's an A-26 Invader on the other team that's nailing ground targets hard, went in a rush. We haven't got a locate on it yet, but we've just seen it pop up at the bottom right hand side of the screen. So we know that's at least one of their ground attackers. We've spotted dots coming from the left, from the air spawn, one at medium altitude, which is likely going to be a heavy bomber. Besides that, we have no real target indicators at this time. K just shot through on comms to let me know that he has spotted, he's having trouble locating it again, but he has spotted a relatively high speed, high altitude dot in between two runways to the south. Being this map and this speed, I'm thinking that's likely going to be a high altitude fighter that's just climbing up. It's likely going to be at least one of the Bearcats. So we're sitting up at about 13,000 feet. I'll start at this altitude, I'll start approaching in on targets. And first one's lit up. The mid-altitude dot, B-17.
The enemy has taken the initiative.
So being the G6s, and this is what we're built for, we both peel in to take a look. And P-51 escort shows up and does actually appear to be escorting the P-51. Now this is going to make things a little bit more difficult. So we're just trying to work out who's going for what here. So the 190 is too far out to make a crack at the B-17 straight away, but the B-17 is not near any target, so I better come in and give case of hand with the P-51. Nose-to-nosing an aircraft in historical is not smart, and we both suffered for it. I just put 30mm rounds straight through the cockpit and the engine cowling of the P-51. Unfortunately, his 50 calibers tore my engine, my oil tanks, my coolant tanks, and basically ruined this plane. So I've only just come into the battle, first contact, and I've already got to bus back to a runway. But I've still got some power left in the engine at the moment. I still have a lot of ammunition, and it's on my way, so I'll take a crack at this B-17 on the way past. Just letting the dive speed build up. I don't want to go too fast. The engine's gone black, so I haven't got time for a second pass to this. And straight through and tears the plane in half. That's what G6s are built to do, and even with only the 20mm cannons, it will tear through bombers like butter. These things were assembled for exactly that purpose, destroying enemy B-17s. So just pulling the WEP up here to get my airspeed up a little bit, just in case the engine dies. Now, it sounds funny, building up airspeed to come into land when I've already got 400 up. If the engine suddenly shuts down on me here though, it's possible I won't have enough speed to get a clean manoeuvre in, especially with the rather low altitude approach that I'm making, because I'm trying to stay, well, as much out of sight and out of mind from the enemy fighters as I can. If you see a G6 going down on a runway that's sitting almost smack bang in the middle of the map for repairs, it's likely you're going to get torn in half. So I'm taking a risk as it is, because I'll never make it back to the Berlin airfield. Gently put the wheels down. I just managed to time this perfectly right, because as I'm applying the brakes to pull the plane up, the engine fails. There it goes. That's all I would have had. If I'd tried to make it back to the Berlin airfield, I would never have made it. I actually had a moment of panic here, being as I was putting down on an airfield that was marked as a target and not the one that I launched from. I wasn't entirely sure with the changes to the map that I'd actually get repairs from here, but thankfully, yes you do. If anybody else was curious about it, yes, you get repaired and rearmed. So I've got a decent crew on the G6. It's not the best one that I've got, but it was still only a 20-second rearm and reload. The damage wasn't that severe, it was just, well, I can't fly with a dead engine. So rearmed and getting straight off. Now, K took a few hits. He's been engaged with another P-51 while I was bringing this one down. So he's going in to do a flash landing himself. So let's go straight to WEP, get the undercarriage up, and then I'm just going to circle the airfield and provide cover. Now, all their enemies have been destroyed. I got one of the P-51s, and the B-17. The G10 over there took out one of the other P-51s. Our K4 died. I'm not entirely sure what killed it, but it didn't kill anything before it went down. In the end though, everything seems to have cleaned itself out, and there is one fighter left, or one aircraft left. At this stage in time, we're not entirely sure what it is. The only aircraft left alive on our team are mine and Kay's G6s, and the G10 floating around behind us. So I'm just circling around why I'm playing defensive at the moment, just looking for dots. I don't particularly want to get engaged into a firefight until my wingman's back off the ground. And, well, whenever you can, take the opportunity to buzz your wingman by his part, because it will generate a moment of panic every single time, especially if he's not looking and suddenly hears an aircraft fly overhead. Still no targets. I'm finding this really odd at this stage of the battle, because we're sitting smack bang in the middle of the map. This airfield is a primary target and is visible from just about any angle anywhere. It's seriously, if you look at this map, it is dead in center. There are two fighters circling it. One of them has just taken off, and there is another one still sitting on the ground getting repairs, and nobody is coming in to strafe the targets out. This is basically a free kill. If a high altitude fighter uses its speed to come in on that runway at this moment, it's very unlikely me or that G10 would be able to get to the runway and shoot the target down before it managed to kill Kay. Yet nobody's turning up. I'd started getting this really bad feeling that I was being stalked, so I'm turning the plane here slowly. I'm actually heading towards open skies away from the clouds, so it's got this sneaking suspicion if any one aircraft is going to survive this match and get to this point, it's going to be a hostile that is powerful. It's going to be one of their top tier aircraft. Kay's just let me know he's spotted a dot to my rear at the moment from the runway. He's in the process of taking off. I'm not turning back because I don't want to make it too much of a target of myself, and there it is. And yep, that's the Bearcat, their quad cannon. Fully armed, completely undamaged, and versus two G6s and a G10. And one of the G6s isn't upgraded. So he's come straight into me at a dive. I've done a roll down to get speed and dive underneath him. The Bearcat doesn't do negative G turns very well during a dive, so if you can get in underneath them and get your airspeed up enough, they will overshoot you every time. They can't just drop the nose straight to the ground. They've got to roll the plane and then pull over backwards. So I decided, stuff it, I'm going to have to try and cripple this guy. He's going to go at me again. If I can at least do some damage, K and the G10 may be able to finish him off. So line him up, aim true. Or maybe I could just put 30mm straight through his engine cowling too. The sheer firepower of this 30mm, even with these 20s under the wings, just... He went into a nose-to-nose, and that was it. That surprised the hell out of me, to be perfectly honest. I was fully expecting to get torn in half doing that. But I'll most certainly take it. So, victory it was, and 3 kills for me, the B-17, the P-51, and the quad cannon Bearcat at the end. No kills for Kay, but he did a hell of a job of keeping me alive while I was getting a repair after the P-51 ate my engine in the first part of the fight. Got Bulletproof, the Fighter Award, and Final Blow, and it totaled out at 61,295 Silver Lions, and 145,640 XP. Total battle time, 13 minutes. Not bad at all. And since getting the extra cannons under the wings, I will be honest, the G6 has been a bit of a painful grind. Doing historical battles and even in arcade. Up until I unlocked those 20s, the extra firepower coupled with the 30 just turned this plane around. Once it got its engine upgrade, it was actually able to climb and maneuver as a 109 should. It started feeling like a 109 again. Before that, it was feeling like something else, and whatever it was feeling like, I didn't particularly like. For those of you grinding the G6 at the moment, this isn't my review, but don't worry, it does get better as you get further through the grind. At the stage I'm at now, this thing feels very similar to a G10 at lower level and better matchmaking. So anyways, I'm going to call it here, folks. Please like this video if you do, subscribe if you want to see more, and fly smart, fly safe. I'll catch you in the skies.